Hello and welcome. Here we are, the Marianne and Corinna duo. And yes, we are 2 days late, but Marianne is gonna let you know what the reason for the delay is, or was, better said, luckily. And so I'll pass it on right away to you, Marianne.
Oh, yes, thank you, Corinna. I'm happy that we can have our Facebook Live now, 2 days later, but what if we are never too late?
Nope.
We
Yep.
postponed it, and yeah, what created it? As yes, I can tell what the reason was that we had to postpone it really on top of the hour nearly. It was because of an interesting thing happened here with the building where I was living, not with the building. Right in front of the building, there broke a water pipe. And initially, it didn't affect the water pipes into my apartment, which a few hours later, it was.
Uh,
It was affecting me, and a whole wall in the entrance of the apartment was really sucking of water, and the water came out, and it was like, oh, really interesting. So we had to shut down the main and yeah, calling in people to come and work. And what a beautiful thing it was. The universe really answered nearly immediately by sending the people in, and they start to work, but they had to drill the wall open, so there was really so much noise that it wasn't possible to come on live. I could
mhm.
nearly even speak myself, as a matter of speaking. But the interesting thing was at the same time, Corinna, because of our conversation we had on Monday, which for now looks like it's a month ago, there was that theme about yeah, choosing and making decisions and whatever. Is that coming from inclusion or exclusion? And that theme, because it was on top of the day after our conversation, it was really vibrating still inside of
Mhm.
me. So I took that theme into what was happening here with the building, with the water pipes in my life, what was. And my God, I got it even from another level. I dived into it, and the inclusion, something I came aware of was, hmm, every 10 seconds choosing choosing how much do I let the noise affecting me. What is it what I can choose? As in a certain moment the water was really showering into the apartment,
Mm.
so it was like, what do I choose now?
Yeah.
Say I get calm, or do I include even what looks like it went wrong? What if it wasn't wrong?
Mm-hmm.
So every second again. And that day on Tuesday, for 3 times again, they had to open more and more and more, because when the repairing was done on one place, there was a leak a little ahead. The second time, a little ahead. So all day long, they were drilling and repairing, but the water didn't stop. Or no, it was more the tubes went on and on to leak. So finally, at the end of the day, they arranged me the cold water running. The hot water tubes came and started even to open up also. But it was the end of the day already. So yes, there it was. But it was so interesting what I chose, really conscious present with
Mm-hmm.
everything happening, every because it wasn't a coming and going from other people. They called in to help, and with more acknowledgement of whatever there was required. So before, I'm sure, even half a year ago, perhaps 2 months ago, I would have been stressed out. It would have been affected my body in a way that, yeah, I would cramp completely. So I would exclude so many things, excluding
Mm-hmm.
information, excluding my body, excluding, yeah, whatever it was required to have the repairing. As what do I mean with that is my apartment was a few hours before the leak started, was giving me an energy of what I interpreted as that in that moment as it's really time to leave now. It's really time to go and have a look for another house, another apartment, whatever. But yeah, it's really time now. But then with the water, it is also something I am working a lot more and diving deeper in with what is my communion, what is my connection with water, in which way do I work with water. And I started already to work with the central fund of the water disturbing distribution of, of the water. So, and it was all in split seconds that it came in that there is so much more in what looks like a disaster. There was so much more beauty in what it looked like a disaster. And yeah, it was that inclusion. It was that inclusion. And it
Mm-hmm.
appeared in a way that I never could imagine that I would experience what it truly can mean for me when I am present and go every 10 seconds again, the possibility to choose from inclusion instead of exclusion. So that's my entrance to come and say, yeah, from where it was that we had to postpone this Facebook Live.
So it is working for you to not have that much noise today.
Yes.
I get that. And what, from my perspective, um, you really are highlighting with that story is how much is your point of view that you have allowing you to have ease with something that looks even very difficult. And or how much are you creating more stress
Yes.
by fighting it? And fighting it means, in a way, you are excluding it,
Yeah.
versus being with it, you are including it into your energy field. And how much is that actually creating a totally different situation?
Oh, yes, yes. Because if I can add there on, I noticed what an effect it had on work, the people who are working and arranging the thing,
Mm,
because I stay calm and I didn't make any disaster more about, yeah, going angry or whatever I could have chosen. But because of that inclusion I chose, it gave them also the space to stay calm and go on and on and on. And in that way, I am sure the reparation, even it went for 2 days, finally, it went 2 days, but it could have so much been longer when I would have
yeah.
chosen contraction
Yeah.
and angry,
Hmm.
anger, you know? So, yeah.
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 There
Mhm.
is really, and I think that is something we're not necessarily including in our choices the awareness of how much our energetic space influences the people around us.
Yeah,
If we are calm, if we are spacious, that is one setting. If we're contracted and stressed and angry and everything, then that colors off onto the others, and eventually they get stressed and
exactly.
potentially even angry. And having it calm allows also the awareness, way much more awareness of what are possible solutions.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And
So,
inclusion does not, it's not the same as according to everything or applying everything onto yourself. Or inclusion is being aware and in allowance of every
yeah,
aspect of
yeah,
every, yeah, influence there is, and you choosing what is working for yourself.
yeah.
So
And
it is giving yourself space and your environment. Yes.
and would it, to ask you, would it have worked for you to be stressed?
From what I know now, no.
Mm-hmm.
But let us say, if I would have chosen, because I know for sure the same amount of noise, because I'm very hearable and all the molecules in my body with, yeah, I hear the sounds quite a bit louder than normal. What is normal, you
Mm-hmm.
have it also. So it enters it, my body shakes. But with this experience of what I was choosing, now there is that awareness cognitively, knowing that, oh, but even with that noise, when I don't make hard noises, even soft noises that I hear loud, if I don't make them wrong, but include it in whatever it is, then my body doesn't stress and my body doesn't have to shake that much because I don't exclude anything. As I noticed that I did that before, I have that tendency
Mm-hmm.
with noise to contract the stress. You mean excluding is contracting, is stressing.
Yeah.
And what if that makes even a bigger effect on my body than what the noise itself causes?
So
Yeah,
it's actually, if I sum up what you're talking about, it's actually choosing relaxation by including what is going on around you makes it more workable. And what
exactly.
if we can, in a way, generalize that? Are we willing to include and to relax into what is, instead of on a very obvious level or internal level fighting against it?
Yeah. And also there is a difference before, and I could that do very well is how would I say, filtering out noise
Mhm.
as, yeah, pulling it on the background or whatever,
Yeah,
filtering out noise. But with this noise of those hammers and drills in the walls,
it's
it's not
harder,
possible.
way
It is way harder. It's horrible. As the neighbor came to ask here also, how many hours will you go on? But hey, we had to do this. But in that moment, it is like, what if I don't have to filter out now? I can choose different. If I
harder.
really am willing to include the noise, is also willing to including that. the vibration that it gives in my body will pump up all the time. It
Mm-hmm.
is. And not making that wrong. So that relaxation where you are speaking to is when we include, then is there more relaxation, isn't it? We relax as by itself when we include.
Yeah. I mean, if I look at it as uh, as as we said, inclusion is expansive and it gives us more space. So in more space, even noise dissipates more.
Yeah,
Versus if I'm fighting against that because I have decided, oh God, this is going to be horrible, and da 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 da, and I'm contracting, I'm having less space, and that fighting against something doesn't allow me to relax.
yeah.
And so it's really a very basic way of making a choice in how are we dealing with what is going on around us. And yeah, you had that special situation, but I remember back when I was traveling last summer, it's just you needed to run the air conditioning because it was too damn hot, maybe in an area. But I also remember initially, "Ugh, now I have to deal with that noise." Yeah. And eventually I started to relax. And as I relaxed, the noise sort of dissipated, went more into the background, was not as obnoxious as
Yes,
when I got into the room and
yeah.
turned on the air conditioning.
That's
So
beautiful, isn't it? Even when I hear you saying it, the words that come up from me is like, how beautiful it is that we can give space, even giving space to sound,
yeah.
because that is in a way what you mentioned is you relax becoming more space, but because you become more space, there is more space also for the sounds, the vibration that it brings to go through the ether of your environment, of your aura. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but
Yeah.
isn't that so? In this moment, I'm blown away of the way I receive it now. And how much more can we really choose to include everything?
And how much
Mm.
are we on autopilot to or attempting to push away anything that we decided we don't like, which is a judgment that that is bad, or so how much can we really, by choosing to be present and included, to just again create that space and allow it to dissipate way more than it would in any other situation.
And this brings me back, Corinna, with what you said before, is that our point of view,
Mm-hmm.
our definitions,
Yeah.
as we, for example, we have to go out to something and we know that there will be a lot of noise. But when we conclude and decide for ourselves that it will be quite a challenge, quite difficult to lead and deal with the noise, how much do we send out there that definition of
Yeah.
will be hard because we contract everything in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah,
And we, on the other hand, we are
mm,
proving our conclusion correct.
exactly. Also, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, it's going to be a challenge, and I'll make it a challenge by holding on to that point of view.
Exactly, because nothing else nearly is possible in that moment.
Yeah.
Because you tell yourself it will be that. So my focus goes on that because I decided it will be that. So I can include only that point of view, and it's not including every possibility, every possible choice I can have. And
Mhm.
those 10 seconds in
Yeah.
increments, the choosing it was something really present those 2 days as I chose for myself. What if I would apply this tool more and every day? Not only in situations that is coming towards us unexpected, but what truly if we would choose to choose more, to choose more often, to be really more present in every second as cognitively knowing that we have choice.
Yeah.
Because the automatic pilot, how much does that, yeah, get us out of that knowing that we have choice always? Always.
It- and I mean, it almost sounds like those past 2 days have been a blessing in disguise. And how much are we? Now let me backtrack. I remember when you texted me that this is what's going on, and I'm going to try to see how I can play with inclusion in that situation. How much are we going automatically to exclusion
Yeah,
and not accepting the the invitation almost that the universe is giving us to,
exactly.
to practice something new, to learn something new, to gain a skill? Because, you talked about choosing every 10 seconds, not just making a choice in the morning and be done with, but how often are we in situations where we really have to choose again and again and again to remind us that this is what we would like to create? This is what we would like to have.
And if you take that even in the message, the few messages we switched
Mhm.
each other is, I'm giving you information, and then on the other end there is for you something to receive and to go along with, to make choices also, because in that moment it is, what are we going to do? Are
Mhm.
we postponing it? Are we letting it go for this week? Are you going alone? And then I can remember that the first message that came back was more like, yeah, I sent it out already. So looks like I'm going to do it by myself. But you took your space. And within 10 seconds nearly, there was a lightness in to go,
Yeah.
but yeah, what if we postponed it? And it went so, it was easy. It was easy because even with me, we both could have chosen stress,
Mhm.
contraction from ideas, conclusions as yes, but then people are waiting for this because we do it every week at the same time. So we appear. So it's not allowed. Do not coming up. There were so many things we could have
I was not
chosen.
supposed to do that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's there is nothing wrong as
Yeah.
how we went, and I'm so happy that we postponed it because yeah, there is so much more to tell
To
in a
talk.
complete different way
Yeah.
about inclusion and exclusion as perhaps we would have gone on Tuesday. and we will not know it because Tuesday wasn't there. We chose to postpone it. So yeah,
Or just thinking about it, I could have talked about what why we came up with the subject and what we talked about on
yeah,
Monday. And that would not have included what you just contributed to the whole conversation by sharing your experience,
exactly.
which makes it completely different for people who are listening to it
Yeah.
now, listening to it in the future. It totally
And
shifts and expands it.
also, Corinna, some for me an interesting item to receive in that conversation that you came back the second time was, but for me, it's so much more fun to go together. So I choose for the fun.
Yeah.
And that element, choosing for the fun, how much more is there possible to include immediately?
Granted, yes.
So
Yeah.
when we are willing to be present every second and choosing in every 10 seconds, because it is every second, but
Yeah.
hey, every 10 seconds is more digestible to get along with it. But then there is also more beauty to receive because it's nearly impossible, becoming more impossible to dismiss things.
Yes.
As it looks like, yeah, but I'm telling this, it's more fun to go with both of us. So let's go for that. Let's choose and postpone. But how much information, how much joy is there still in to acknowledge?
Yeah.
Oh yes, the ease I have with choosing for what works for me. Nevertheless, it was something we do both. But in that 10 seconds, you chose for what works for you also. And that is that joy to come
Hmm.
together live. So, so many, 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 many myths there are in one experience now.
And the thing is, you know, yes, technically we could have just canceled this week. It would not have happened. We could have done that, or I was willing, if it doesn't work for you to be part of today, because
Mhm.
something unforeseen happens and you still are surrounded by noise, then I was willing to do it alone.
Yeah, yeah,
Despite the fact that it's more fun for me to do it together with you, but that doesn't exclude the other option.
exactly,
It
exactly.
includes, but it includes actually everything. It
Yeah.
includes the canceling too.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It was in every way, it was all included
yeah,
without an expectation, without a judgment, going with in every second
what
nearly what
works?
is the most light and what is working in this
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And how much can we
yeah,
make that a general practice in our lives by really asking, checking in with ourselves? It's not necessarily that we need to officially ask, but just checking in is just, so what would be fun? Oh, okay, that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then being with that. And how much more fun is life? And when say that, I'm also keenly aware how often have I asked, what does it mean to have fun in life? And my image was mostly almost manic, kind of.
Oh,
And then I'm not choosing that, so I'm not choosing fun. I'm not having fun in my life, if I'm really honest, I have to say, uh, sorry, I am choosing fun, and the way fun looks for me may be quite different than the way fun looks for you.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
it's really checking in with yourself and being aware of what your definition is, what works for you again. It's
And
such
e-
an important aspect.
and even there, Corinna, there came an example with that fun because I noticed for myself that being by myself in silence, and silence is not that there is no sound of, there is a lot going on in that silence, and there are moments that it is totally joyful
Mm-hmm.
to be there.
Yep.
And there are other moments that it is less joyful. And that is also okay. It's not because of, in this moment, this is what is fun for me, that it needs to be every time when there is the more or less same situation that
Yep.
it will be fun. And isn't that the inclusion and the movement and the 10 seconds increments and it's not, oh yeah, I now found it. I found it. What is joy for me? What is happiness? I found it. What if we don't have to find anything, but always going from inclusion, 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 and more and more and more? How much more can we, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
explore even and find out for ourselves what will work, what is working also?
And, you know, I have to admit, I am aware that depending on my, yeah, let's call it mood for a lack of a better word, fun can be quite different. And it still is fun, even it may be low key. But if I would be depressed, what somebody might say, oh, you are depressed, that would be a totally different energy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So it's really, are we willing to stay flexible instead of saying, oh, now I found out what fun is and therefore it has to be. Fill in
exactly.
the blank, the same thing, 24/7, 365.
Which can lead also to go and have to look to that same joy in the same situation again and again and again.
Yeah,
So is that fun to go every time
not
for the
for
same
me.
thing? No, not for me, neither. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely an experience, Karina, that for me made so much sense. And for other people looked like it was not fun at all. And you have to get rid of it as soon as possible, and the solutions and this and this.
And you have
But
to
for
break
me,
it.
it, exactly, exactly. And for me, it was really like possibilities,
Hmm.
possibilities to become more clear with myself, even getting more clear in which way universe, earth, every element works in giving us information.
Not just giving us information, also having our back.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah. And then there is that expression, eh? It never shows up
the way
the
you
way
expect
you
it.
think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
great. And this was
So,
fun for me, Karina. Let us say we are looking up for fun. Even this is fun in this moment. And in a way, what was happening had also a kind of fun energy in it. And the energy of the fun in it was that, yeah, the way I could explore
Mm-hmm.
choosing point of views, how it works, the effects, the space, so many things. That was the fun factor in, yeah, in the
You mean
disaster.
you mean to say that I get to play, but I'm not going to have fun?
Oh, you can make up whatever you want. It is it is that inclusion that when we
Yeah,
decide that something is terrible,
yeah,
when we include it is not fun, then we can't explore so many things that is
yeah. We're
offered,
stuck. We're stuck.
that is giving us to go along with it and to
Yeah.
explore and detect and discover and whatever. There is so much play in it if we want to choose.
If we choose to choose, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And after this, I mean, first of all, let me say, I really appreciate you sharing more in depth than what we just shared in short texts to each other. So, are we on for Thursday? Are we on? Or yesterday? Are we on for tomorrow? Yes, we are on. Looking forward with those experiences and awarenesses that we've gained as a result of that. What is going to be our conversation on Monday? And as a result of that, what is going to be the theme for next Tuesday?
Yes, we will go on Tuesday if nothing unexpected is happening. But yeah,
Now, yeah, we can't expect to have something unexpected every week.
as though there are the teams, we expect the unexpected.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you, Corinna. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
let's have
And
fun. Let's have fun, everyone
yep,
listening now or later. It doesn't
and
matter.
see what you can do with it. Okay,
Yes.
take care. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.